美国时事通，我是罗文。今天是2025年1月10号星期五。昨天有讲了川普和 Melania 手拉手到吉米卡特的棺木前为他致哀1分钟哈。紧接着他们就出席了这个吉米卡特的葬礼哈，是在大教堂进行的，有很多神职人员参加。那所有的5任美国总统都参加了哈，所以大家可以看到民主党的总统和共和党的总统，再加上总统候选人、前副总统等等哈，都坐在前排。川普和奥巴马，包括共和党的布希总统，我昨天的录影中有显示哈，川普和奥巴马交谈非常的热烈。那很多人就说他到底在谈什么？所以 Insider 就请了唇语专家哈，就专门解读，从远处看大家对嘴型来判断他们说话的，就把这个川普和奥巴马的部分谈话给解密出来了，我们可以看一下。
I can't talk. We have to find a quiet place. This is a matter of importance, and we need to do this outside so that we can deal with it, certainly today. I've pulled out of that. It's the conditions. Can you imagine that?
所以这个奥巴马说我不能谈，到底是指谈什么还不知道哈，所以要另外找个安静的地方谈。那同时川普总统说我自己抽身而出了，那这一系列谈话到底是指什么，我们目前不得而知哈。那不过有的网上已经出了搞笑的版本，另外翻译了一版奥巴马和川普的谈话哈，这个不是真实的唇语专家的解读，但是我觉得是非常爆笑的，比较贴合情境的，所以我也把它放在这儿，以供大家周末娱乐哈。这个葬礼上各个领导们的互动也非常耐人寻味哈。那你看这个拜登夫妇进来的时候，他们坐在卡马拉哈里斯和第二先生的旁边哈，第一夫人和总统坐在第二先生和副总统的旁边，他们两个女的坐在一起，他们两个互相的都看都不看一眼，也不互相搭话，简直就跟看高中女孩的肥皂剧一样哈。由于吉尔拜登和卡马拉哈里斯互相不理睬哈，所以网上还出了个恶搞的版本，就是他们两个形势非常紧张，那突然就动起手来了，结果第二先生和拜登就在旁边拉架。同时你也可以看到哈，克林顿总统进来的时候，他们也没有跟川普总统握手。彭斯倒是跟川普握手了，这个川普跟大家握手的时候，彭斯就伸出了手跟他握，但是他的太太 Karen Pence 两眼发呆，就拒绝跟川普总统和第一夫人 Melania 握手哈。彭斯跟他们两个人都握了手，所以有的人就说Karen Pence 真是明智实归哈 ，She's a real Karen now。我们之前在一集里讲过哈，美国人说这女的是一个 Karen，You're a Karen， 意思就是说你就是个。中国的话怎么翻译就是事儿妈哈，这个 Karen 是白人的中年的女性，她们比较 demanding， 总是要求这个要求那个哈。你在餐厅里看到有人说叫你们经理来什么的，这些人就是他们被称为 Karen， 所以有人就说Karen Pence is really a Karen now， 就讽刺他他真的成了一个 Karen 哈。那当然没有跟川普握手的还有布希总统，那布希总统已经非常年迈了哈，他走过的时候就笔直的走过了川普总统，所以没有跟川普总统握手，但反而他跟彭斯握了手，他跟戈尔握了手，所以你可以看到他这个态度哈。场上还有一个人非常引起注意的就是亨特拜登哈，那作为第一儿子，他也到了现场，他就不断的在揉他的眼睛，揉他的鼻子，很多人就说到底怎么回事，他过敏吗？有的人就说这就是吸毒的，你吸可卡因和吸冰毒的话，你可能就有这种反应哈。有的人说他很紧张，因为有那么多的神职人员在场哈。总之他的这个非常不适当的形象也引起了大家诸多的讨论。 这中间没有跟川普握手的最引人注目的，我觉得并不是民主党人，也不是彭斯的太太前第二夫人 Karen Pence， 而是布希总统。布希总统作为共和党的前总统，他居然没有跟现任的当选总统握手，这是非常不合适的一个事情哈。所以班农就火力全开说，你看，这就是布希和他跟随他的人的一副形象，因为他们如此的腐败，他们拒绝跟即使是共和党的当选总统握手，就包括奥巴马都在跟川普总统谈天说地，似乎是谈得很开心哈。那你凭什么作为共和党的前总统，你反而不支持你们共和党的当选总统呢？那当然，我觉得除了川普一直在抨击布什家族的腐败和没有作为以外哈，那更重要的，那其实还有一箭之仇，就是2016年 Jeb Bush 这个跟川普同台，结果以此断送了布希家族的政治前途。现在又断送了千里家族的政治前途哈，其实他还根除了克林顿家族哈，几个政治大家族都被他搅得天翻地覆，这就是人民的力量哈，所以就彻底根除腐败，就是这个意思。所以班农的火力全开，我们可以看一下。
As you noticed over the last couple of days, we've been so swamped in getting ready for President Trump, the return of President Trump to the imperial capital and the taking over of this kicking out the phony regime, the illegitimate regime of Biden, and cleaning up this mess. We have not mentioned a word about Jimmy Carter, and I served under Jimmy Carter as a naval officer in the Pacific Fleet and then in the North Arabian Sea and Persian Gulf in the run-up to the work-up to the hostage rescue operation back in 1980, correct, 79, 80. And I've gone out of my way not to talk anything about the state funeral, all that. But I have to comment on this, folks. Right there, you had this, people walking in, and the Obama, and for all the fanboys out there saying, "Oh, Obama was talking to him," no, Obama snubbed President Trump, didn't shake his hand, went and shook Gore's hand and shook Pence's hand. President Trump walks in, and Al Gore stands right up, boom. How you doing, Mr. President? Shakes his hand, looks him in the eye, gets a firm grit. Judas Pence. Once again, Pence can't commit to anything, right? Can't commit. Kind of looking back and forth, feeling, with mother right next to him. Got to stand up. Gives him that weak handshake. Dude, you got to commit to action, Pence. So Pence is there. Then Trump sits down, looking like Charlemagne again, looking like he was in Notre Dame. Now he's in National Cathedral. And Obama comes in, snubs him. But then they start talking, and so, yes, Obama and him get some more. Bush walks in. The worst president in the history of the country. They just did a poll yesterday saying that in among modern presidents, I guess from Jack Kennedy forward, that or maybe from Eisenhower forward, that Biden was ranked as the lowest. Bush is the second worst president in the history of the country. Only James Buchanan is worse. I can go through details. He walks right by in a blatant public snub of a guy who just won re-election. So I don't want to hear the Bushes and the Bush crowd. I don't want to hear Karl Rove and all these people. I've had respect for institutions. You guys don't respect anything. You don't respect anything. You got your kicked by MAGA. We're going to have the guys in Texas down here at the bottom of the hour. You got your kicked in Texas by MAGA. Because you're corrupt. Everybody associated with the Bush apparatus in Texas or anywhere, you're corrupt. You're part of the problem. You're telling me that loser, the worst president in the history of the country, comes by in a church, walks right in the pew, which he should have walked around, but hey, it's about class and style. You're telling me that he walks by a man that was president of the United States and then had it stolen and came back from nowhere and against all odds and won a sweeping victory to unify the Republican Party in the nation? And you're going to big league him? Is that what you're going to do? This is to the core of it. All Bushes and Bush-related people, you suck. You have no class. You're little people. You're bitter. Karl Rove, you're a bitter little man. Bush, you're the worst president in the history of the country. Want me to go through it? 9/11. Oh, and the whole thing spin. Well, that was all Clinton's fault. Hey, Clinton had a lot to do, but you were on watch, dude. When I was in the Navy, we relieved the watch 1 second afterwards. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility. Then you had the financial collapse. We had, I skipped over a few things. Yeah, Afghan war and the Iraq war. Afghan, you could have gone in and done it right away. Didn't get Osama bin Laden. Your military blinked. That was a 20-year contest. Nation building. Let's get the blue finger. Sure, they voted. Iraq, where you lied. Basically, essentially war criminals because you blatantly went out and changed the intelligence and lied to everybody. Lied to everybody. You've never, we don't need an apology, but you've never gone to the families. You've never gone to Section 60 of Arlington National Cemetery and say, it was your responsibility. It was your fault. Never. Bushes won't do that. They don't have any character. Zero. Old man didn't have any character. Old man sent Scowcroft on. We could have taken down the Chinese Communist Party. How many tens or hundreds of millions of Chinese allowed by Xing have been destroyed since then in 1989, June of 89? That's fault. The whole families, they're weak, they're corrupt, they're easily manipulated by business interest. They play with some tough folks. Don't get me wrong. The corporatists and some of those folks down in Texas, those old guys, natural gas. Hey, come on, man. You don't need to watch Landmen to know there's some tough hombres. They got the easily manipulated. I knew a guy that knew Bush before the Bass family installed him as the president of the Texas Rangers to give him a job before they ran for governor, and he was doing oil and gas deals. And they said, "Look, like a lot of rich kids, he had his little questions down in his due diligence, but once they gave an answer, he couldn't answer. He couldn't answer the follow-on question. That's when he tell somebody. That's the intelligence you can tell somebody when you're in a business relationship where they can drill down and actually get into the details and ask you a bunch of questions that you can understand how they think. He can't do that because he's dumb. I mean, really dumb.
OK， 这是今天的播报，感谢您的收看，加油。